Guys, today I want to talk to you about Texas property tax cuts and how it will impact you in the state of Texas. Hey guys, I'm Natasha Tessier. I own Dwell Realty and Design by EXP. I was born and raised in this great state, in this great city of Houston, and my channel is anything and everything about the city of Houston. So if you are interested in moving here, or maybe you already live here and you watch because you want some more information, I would love for you to hit the subscribe button. Don't be shy. I'd love to get to know you. Tell me where you're from, where you're watching from, and I would just love to get to know all my viewers out there. I have tons of people viewing my channel and reaching out to me every single day to have them help move to the state of Texas. I'm happy to help you reach out. I do want to say, when you reach out, you will get me. I don't have a team of 25. I'm not going to round robin you to different people. I just have me and my assistant, Megan, who helps me with all of my paperwork and scheduling things and all that good stuff. And then I have a few showing assistants that will help show houses and help us narrow down our search until we're ready to purchase. So when you reach out, that cell phone is going to be me. We're going to give you a buyer form to fill out so we can get to know you, hop on a phone call, and then go from there and plan your trip. Today, I want to talk about Proposition 4 and the huge tax cuts that are coming to Texas. So everybody knows the property taxes here are a little bit higher. We do not have a state income tax. So some people that I talk to don't realize that their state has a state income tax. Look at your, W-2, or you can Google what the state income tax is. Some, when we lived in Alabama for a few years, were 5%. Some are 10%. Some are based on your tax bracket and can be up to 13% of your income that you're paying, which is crazy. No state income tax at all in the state of Texas. So that's really cool. But we do have property taxes, and they can be anywhere from 1 to 3.5%. So that can add up, and something you want to think about when moving here. However, we just passed Proposition 4, which was an $18 billion property tax cut on the state. This was the largest tax cut we've ever had in our state, and people are very excited about it. And all of us just went and checked I was actually doing a search for somebody, and it was in my neighborhood, and I'm like, well, my tax rate used to be 1.79 and it's 1.5. And so this is just a few weeks ago. This is February 2024. So I start researching and I'm looking around, and everybody's has dropped. So across the board, they dropped the school district tax rate. So everybody's rate went down across the whole state, which is really, really cool. So that bill passed in November with 84% people. I think several million voted for it. So for all the 5 million people that live in Texas, they're going to be very excited that their taxes are going down. So Texas has a $33 billion surplus, and that's how all this started. So again, if you do your research, there's a lot of states that do not have a surplus. And that is a good indicator of where our state is at. If you have a $33 billion surplus in your state, and then you're giving 18 back to the residents because, they want people to be able to afford the property taxes here and, be able to stay here, that's pretty cool. So we have a huge surplus. And part of that is because so many people are moving. It's the fastest growing state in the nation right now, according to several resources. I think it goes back and forth between Florida and Texas. But so many people are moving to the great state of Texas. And so then, values are going up. And so they had to do something to help the residents here. So that's the first thing, is that our school district rate dropped. The second part of that bill was that our homestead exemption. So when you move here and you want to make sure that your agent talks you through how to do this at closing, I try to tell all my clients, and then I try to send out emails. There's not really a timeline, but you do want to make sure that that you file for homestead when you move here. So what that entails is you have to get the first step is getting your driver's license changed to your new address. So they're not going to change you as homestead unless your driver's license says this is where I live. So that's the first step. Then you can usually file it online, like Montgomery County MCAD, Montgomery County Appraisal District. We go on there, we file it. I tell everybody screenshot it because it takes them a while to get through them all. So you want to make sure that you say, I filed this whatever date you filed it and screenshot your receipt. So you file for Homestead. It used to be that you got $40,000 off your school district taxes. So let's just say for your school district taxes, your house was $600,000. Well, you would pay it on $560,000. Well, with Proposition 4, that number went up to $100,000. So instead of paying it on $600,000, now we're going to pay it on $500,000. That's going to be a huge savings for everybody come this year, 2024. And for over 65, they moved that number to $110,000. So you really get a break on your taxes on your homestead if you live here. Okay, so that is huge. The one thing they were going after that did not pass, which I'm hoping it will in the future, is the amount that the cap of how it can go up. So right now that number is 10%. So if you live in a $500,000 house, every year it can go up 10%. So $550,000, so forth and so on every year. Now, there is some stipulation with that. In certain counties, you have to live in the house a year before that falls in. So a lot of people get frustrated because they buy a house and it jumps up and it keeps jumping up. You have to live in that house a year before that 10% rule kicks in. It doesn't kick in immediately. But you can fight your property taxes in Texas. I do it every year. 2 ways to do this. You yourself can get comps of the houses that sold in your area, and you can go up there and have a meeting and say, this is why I think this is the value of my property. Or there are tons of lawyers and services that you can offer, and I have a whole list of people. They'll do it for you. So they go in, they pull the comps every year. I've gotten mine down doing it that way. It's very easy to do yourself. If you have the time and all that, it's very easy. But if not, they'll go, and most of them charge 25%. So let's say they save you, $2,000. Okay. Their fee is going to be $500 of that $2,000. So it just depends on your time and, do you want to go and fight it yourself and go to the county or not? The smaller the county, the easier that is. Harris County, it's hard, but my mom did it. So for 2 years, my mom paid somebody to fight it. And this past year, she did it herself and she got a lot more. So I don't know if there's a rhyme or reason to that or not, but you do want to fight them and get them down every year and keep them as low as you can possibly keep them. Okay, the other thing is they added a cap to how much business properties can grow. So let's say it's not homesteaded or it's a business or it's a rental. There used to not be a cap on that like the 10% it is for your homestead. They've capped that out at 20% now. So for the next 3 years, that cap, 24, 25, and 26, will apply to businesses. So that it can't go higher than 20% on your business or your rental, which is good because that could get out of control as well. Proposition 4 also changed and expanded the number of businesses, the pool of businesses that don't have to pay the state franchise tax. So that's cool too. This was a great bill that passed, and it's going to help our state even more. I'm super excited about it. And then the last part of Proposition 4 is that if you live in a county over 75,000 people, obviously like Montgomery County, but some of them, obviously the counties are really small, don't have that. You get to vote or select 3 people for the appraisal district. So all that used to be appointed. It was just appointed, but they changed it in Proposition 4 for counties over 75,000. That's going to be a vote in now, which I think will help to kind of balance things out. So a lot to think about on Proposition 4 and a lot to think about on your property taxes. People always ask me, well, what is the property tax going to be? What is it going to be? It's different for every single neighborhood. Some neighborhoods like Wood Forest have the MUD in there, which is a municipal utility district. What that is when a developer goes in to say Wood Forest or Audubon or whatever, they put in all the infrastructure, okay? The plumbing, the electrical, all that stuff. And then the MUD, or they call it a PID, pays that off over time, okay? And then that gets paid off over time. That's why your older neighborhoods have lower property taxes in the same school district, because does it have a MUD and different fees included? So you really have to concentrate on your property taxes per neighborhood. I can't give you a blanketed statement that says, all of this is going to be this rate. I can tell you that I've seen it as low as 1.2 on some of the land and the unrestricted land, and it can go all the way up to 3.5 on some of the brand new. Now those are going down. So I think even Bridgeland might have been at 3.7, and I think it's in the lower threes. So it goes down as that community grows and it gets paid off. So you do want to be prepared, to pay those property taxes. Now, if you're escrowing, they're going to collect that every month and they're going to pay it at the end of the year. So in Texas, our property taxes are due in the rears. So they're paid in December for the year prior. And if you purchase a house, everything is prorated. So let's say you purchase a house, you close June 1st. The seller of the house is going to owe property taxes from January 1st to May 31st. And then you will owe the property taxes from June 1st through December 31st. So it's all prorated out to the day. Another way to really save on your property taxes is to get ag exempt. And when my kids leave for college, I'm going to get land. I might get it sooner rather than later and hold on to it. But we want to get land and be ag exempt. So that means in Montgomery County, it's a minimum of 5 acres. It's even easier with 10 acres. 5 can be iffy. And you can get ag exemption and agricultural exemption. And those can be things like wildlife exemption. One of my friends works with birds on his land and sends in that data. You can have timber exemption for taking down the timber. You can have the bee exemption for, raising bees. There's all sorts of ways, but let me give you an example. I'm selling a property right now and it is under contract for over 1.7. It's 12 acres in Cypress, and it has a shop and it has a house and it has ponds and fishing and everything you'd ever need and cows and all that stuff. But their value is in the 1.7s and the property taxes are $6,000 a year. So that can save you a ton if you are willing to live out on land. Now, there are expenses that come with that. My sister, she lives in Blanco. She has very affordable taxes for the value of her property and her house. However, she does have expenses. She's got cattle that she's got to feed. She does hay, so you have to seed it, so there are expenses that are associated with getting that ag exempt. I've heard that the bees and the wildlife are the most affordable way to get that exemption and keep it going. So if you're interested in that, we can kind of talk through those options. I hope this video was helpful on how our property tax and Proposition 4 change for the state of Texas. I love living here. I'd love to help you live here. Reach out anytime, days, nights, weekends. You're not bothering me. I'd love to get to know you, and I hope you have a blessed day.